Well, welcome to Age Friendly. Here we are at Shaw Spotlight. We're welcoming you. And today I'm your host, of course, Rebecca Johnson. I welcome you and enjoy the program that we have for you today. And one of the things that we're looking at is the fact that we fall as older adults. Unfortunately, we fall. So we're going to talk about falls prevention with Judi Marton, who is a public health nurse with the Thunder Bay District Health Unit. And under your area, I had to write it down, Judi, to make sure I get it right, is the injury and substance misuse prevention. That's the area that you work in. But we're going to talk about falls prevention. And as I mentioned, we fall as older adults. That's something that happens. So how does the public health unit tie in with falls? How does that work?
So, well, basically, every public health unit in Ontario and across Canada have a mandate. They're mandated to do health promotion and health protection. So health promotion would be things like falls prevention, tobacco cessation, where protection would be things like your immunization. So, and they kind of talk or speak to what they do. But basically, health promotion, the process is really of enabling people to increase control over their own health. Okay. So giving choices, talking about equality and working towards policy. And a majority of the work in health promotion is done with community partners throughout our community, and we also serve the district of Thunder Bay.
All right. When we're talking about this, and I say that older adults fall, which is most unfortunate, but it does happen. Like, why with the health unit? Why is it increasing in numbers, or where are we at with that?
So injuries and deaths caused by falls among older adults, I'll just read it, remain a significant public health issue in Canada. And in 2018, older adults accounted for more than half of all injury-related hospitalizations. And unfortunately, our numbers as older adults are going up. So you can imagine that there's an increase. And since 2018, 3 years, the rates increased by 9%, which works out to be about 9,000 older adults, 65 plus. So, and the older you are, the more risk that you're at. And the cost in hospitalization is in the billions.
It's huge. Unfortunately, sometimes when you fall, I mean, you don't just break a finger, you break a hip, or you can break like a couple of bones in your leg, or like even injure your back. I mean, these are serious falls that can have repercussions for you as an individual then.
Yeah, and just, I mean, coupled with that, the fact that, you know, we're older.
Right.
Our healing process is longer, and it could be due to, you know, many health factors, you know, blood flow, for example, or you know, if you're diabetic, then your healing process isn't, it takes a little bit longer. So convalescing and getting back to maybe where you were, if you can, and hopefully that's the hope, it takes a long time. So, and you know, a lot of work, physiotherapy, etc. So
with older adults and fall prevention, they definitely tie together. And as I say, it's an unfortunate situation. What do we have here in Thunder Bay District? I know that you cover the whole district. You don't just cover Thunder Bay proper. So is it significant here, right here in Thunder Bay?
Oh, absolutely. We have a high population of seniors, and we have a high population of seniors or older adults, actually, I prefer, that live alone, and that's a risk. And you know, depending on what if they have family members or help that, you know, go into their home and what their home looks like. And every now and then we have really great programs, but unfortunately they're funded for a short amount of time. It's not really consistent. So where you would have somebody like EMS would go in and do a health check, which is amazing. And they would also look around the house and say, you know, you've got cords hanging around, or you've got those scatter rugs aren't the safest thing, and maybe in your bathroom you could have some grab bars, and like just do an overall grade assessment. And I know I've taught when those programs were running to EMS, and they love the program.
What you talk about the fact that it's common to fall. Like that's a common situation. So what do you really mean by that?
Well, I guess, well, just because I kind of just wanted,
yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody falls, but it varies. Like from a scrape on a knee when you're 5 or 10,
right,
to
bounce
when you're
up. But you don't do
65.
that when you're 65 to maybe 100 kind of a thing.
I guess I think maybe if you don't mind, I just kind of want to say that what the evidence talks about. So to prevent falls, so it's kind of all the evidence points to a multifaceted approach, which includes things like medication review, a medical checkup with your doctor, letting them know if you've had a fall in the past or even a near miss. And then if you should have a fall assessment to make sure you're having regular vision checks, hearing checks.
But if you're isolated? And I keep going back to this when we talk on this particular program about the fact that isolated, they don't go out, an older adult doesn't go out. How do they then check themselves?
You know what,
It's tough.
That's a very tough one.
That's all right.
That's something we're working on.
Right.
We have actually, part of Age Friendly, a subcommittee about isolated older adults and how we can reach them. It isn't that easy. We work with so many great community partners, so we rely on that, working with other healthcare professionals that can identify them.
And maybe we can get into a little bit later into we're going to have 3 segments about falls, because this is a huge issue. And we're going to talk about the fact of what some of the things that people can do that are isolated that can prevent falls. So we'll leave that for the moment, Judi. But when we're talking about the fact that older adults, they want to prevent, but they also are looking around and aren't thinking about the fact that they're going to fall. Who does that? That's not something we normally would do. But at the health unit, when you're talking about promoting this, how do you go really about to an individual? How do you promote falls to an individual?
So for the health unit's role in that, some health units have a great many people on their team. Right. Ours, unfortunately, doesn't.
Right. Okay.
So that's where we count on community partners. So we support and promote a lot and provide education on our website, and that is good and bad. The seniors paper. We do all kinds of different type of media releases, like in any kind of like our district papers. Local papers here. We're
doing that today too as well.
Telling
people about falls.
Any possible way we can.
Sure.
Getting information out to healthcare providers so that when that the older adult that is isolated, eventually they do maybe have to go to their doctor or healthcare provider, then provide them with information that they can give to those.
Okay, we're going to conclude for right this moment. We'll be back very shortly, and we're going to be talking again to Judi Marton from the health unit here in Thunder Bay about falls and hopefully your prevention of them, so we don't have any more people that are falling. That's our goal here, is to prevent falls. So stay tuned, and we will be right back. Well, welcome back to Age Friendly, and our topic today is falls prevention, and that means if you fall down and break a leg, or we fall down and do something else, hopefully you never do that. Judi Marton from the Public Health Unit is my guest, and of course, Judi, I like to talk about where do falls occur, like generally in the home, but it could be any place actually.
It could be any place, but our research tells us that 50% of the falls happen in your home or just outside your home. So that's pretty significant, considering that a lot of older people are retired and they spend the majority of their time in their home. So I think those two things are kind of key. And it's basically the other places are walking like on uneven ground, especially like in Thunder Bay we've had some horrendous winters. So ice and snow.
Yes.
And I know that's a big concern with the transportation committee and areas around where a lot of seniors will live in an apartment building, for example, that those areas are cleaned off so that they can get to a bus stop, so that they can get out to doctor's appointments.
Right. So in a home, let's stop for a second. If you're in a home, how as a senior can I adjust my home or put things in my home that I'm not going to fall? Like I'm thinking, I have a friend who has stuff, we'll call it, all over the place. Not a good idea.
No.
No. So what other things should you do that will help prevent a fall?
Well, I think, it's basically what you're saying, recognize them,
Yeah.
right? Like knowing that shouldn't be there. And I mean, people need help. And there are agencies.
Right.
Unfortunately, for the most part, they come at a cost. But, there's places that you can call for other help. Like, 55 Plus Center has tons of services, tons of volunteers that, could help people. But kind of know about those. I think the most important point is knowing that those hazards are there.
Right.
That, that stack of magazines or clothes or whatever, where it is, being aware of your surrounding, and just to go slow. Like, don't be afraid, just be prepared. It's kind of like how I like to think of it.
Now, let's go for something else. And the fact that as an adult, an older adult, you can help prevent falls by being in physically good shape. Now, you don't have to, be able to lift every single thing and be able to run a marathon, but you need to be in good physical shape. So what are some tips that we can give to our audience about being in shape and being physically active?
A super great point. And so I just have to say, just because I'm always, pushing the point that exercise and strength and balance is, of all the research, the one that has the highest evidence.
Right.
Exercise and strength and balance to prevent falls, or to make you able to or enable you to be able to get up from one faster or hurt yourself less.
Right.
There's not a ton of evidence of the hurt yourself less. It depends on what type of fall it
Right.
is.
And you don't have to have a whole bunch of equipment to do this, Judi.
Nope.
Now, you brought up a water bottle. I thought this was quite interesting.
Yeah, so for strength exercises, you need to use some type of weight. This was the only one I found, and I know it looks humongous. It is only 3 pounds, so it's not bad. So, I mean, simple arm exercises, and there's all kind, and reaching, and making sure that you have like a good full range of motion.
Yes.
If you don't have these, and don't go out and buy them.
No.
There are other things you can do. One of the recommendations is soup cans. I personally, if that were me, I would probably drop one on my foot. So I think like a water bottle, this weighs about 1 pound. But you can grip it, and it has kind of like an easier shape. So, and then if you do drop it, I don't think it'd do quite as much damage probably as one of these or a can of soup.
That's right.
So that's one of the things.
And
And the other thing,
go ahead.
I left it in my bag, but a TheraBand, it's a stretchy band, and you can get those actually if you go to our age-friendly website.
Right.
There's information there where if you'd like to have a TheraBand and an exercise card about how to use it, we will provide that for you. So it's just a long, stretchy rubber band.
And we can show that.
And you can do exercises with your legs, exercise with your arms.
Very important.
Yeah. So along with that, so basically, what the recommendation is 150 minutes a week. So which turns out to be about, I think it's 21, but they say 30 minutes a day. And that could be, say, 2 or 3 days of either or, walking, and the other, say, 2 days doing exercises and strength and balance, so that you've got both. And you can do them anywhere at any time. We've got all kinds of information on our website, like suggestions for when you're making breakfast, like, leaning against the counter, just doing different things where you can, do it at, your lunch or in the evening. There's just all kinds of tips. And you don't have to do that whole 30 minutes at once, because you want to start out slow, especially if it's a new program.
Of
and
course,
don't
yeah.
ever do it without advising your doctor or asking if your healthcare provider. Let them know that this is what you want to do, and I'm sure that they'll be very happy, but they still want to know.
And one of the things you could even do is if you have a friend, you can go and do a walk. And if you're in an apartment, you can walk up and down the corridor. You don't even have to stay in your own apartment. So there's things that you can do. And you mentioned also at one point in time, gardening is
Yes, gardening is a great way of getting exercise.
Right.
So is dancing.
Yeah.
So when you're home alone and you put on some music and dance and move around the house like you're still moving.
Perfect.
That's the whole idea, is keep moving.
That's right.
Something I read said, put away your dishes one at a time. So you're bending and reaching and bending and reaching. So there's like lots of things probably that you don't even think about.
Right.
Now
you
but
brought
you know
these
that
pieces.
helps.
What are these pieces?
So this is for when you're walking.
Okay.
So you can strap these onto, and I mean, I know it's always talked about to wear bright clothing, but I mean, you know, I don't know, as women, we always like black jackets.
Yeah.
And so you can just strap this on and it glows in the dark, or you can put it on your ankle, or put it on your puppy if you have one to take with you. And then you can also get something like this. And they're not, these aren't expensive. You can often get these free. This one comes from, it's actually from the health unit, from the Walking Challenge or the Walkability group. So there's always something at health fairs, or something like this, like that's, you know,
To
a
put
little
it
more
around
fancy.
so that
you are visible.
and that's really important.
And especially it's getting darker,
That's
right?
earlier, and so you need to make sure that you're well protective in whatever. Are you ever too old to get started?
You are absolutely never too old. You can even be in your 90s. And
Okay.
I know people think that they can't, but it's the whole same thing, starting out slow
Right.
and working your way up. And the majority of people say that they feel better, like once they start moving, they can tell, like it, you know, it doesn't hurt maybe their hips so much when they get out of bed in the morning. And it can happen within 2 weeks, but you really will show results within 4 to 6 weeks. So,
And that's very significant. So if you start doing a little bit of exercise every day, and then you can build up to maybe the 20 minutes or half an hour a day, you in the long run are going to feel a lot better for that.
absolutely.
Well, then make sure that people do that. And we're going to close off for this segment of our program about falls prevention. Judi Marton, our guest, and we'll be joining you, or having you join us very shortly again for our next segment. And again, we'll be talking about falls prevention and with Judi from the health unit. Well, welcome back to Age Friendly tonight, and today our program is about falls prevention, and Judi Marton from the District Health Unit, my guest. And Judi, what if you were in a wheelchair, or you had a cane, or a walker? Older adults have any of those. Can you still do exercises and
Absolutely, no problem.
Okay.
I mean, wheeling can be as beneficial as walking.
Right.
For that, for example, and you can still use the props or
Equipment,
whatever some weights, and that a lot of people that are in a wheelchair get a pretty good workout, I think, mostly with their arms. But you want to get it everywhere. You want to work as much as you can. Also, same goes for a walker. So just move as much as you can. And you're absolutely right. I have a friend that just moved into an apartment building, and he said that people are walking up when they're walkers up and down the whole hallway all the time, which is absolutely great. My own mother lived in one, and I tried to get her to do it, and she wouldn't. But anyway, also a cane, same thing. Like, move at your own pace. Move what feels comfortable to you.
Right.
And a really popular thing is walking sticks, and I see nothing wrong with that, or a cane, or just one walking stick, like a fancy wooden one.
But at least you're having something to help brace you when you're walking.
Yeah,
and you're getting the exercise.
Especially like winter coming up.
So if you do fall, which is something we don't want anybody to have, but it does happen. Okay, so then within that, what do you do? What happens at that point in time? What do you do?
So
you fall
like
down.
after you've fallen and you've convalescing basically. So most importantly is physiotherapy. So,
Okay.
and it's always recommended, and go and follow it through and stay. It's going to take longer as we age, and because a big part of it is building up confidence. So, a lot of the research tells us that once you've had a fall, like an older person, you have this fear of falling,
just gonna say
which
that, yeah.
restricts you and limits you in living your life to its fullest. And I mean, that's just really important. You don't want your mental health to suffer, or you don't want
No.
to isolate yourself anymore.
No, you got to keep going. You got to get up and keep going and convalesce, and hopefully that the leg doesn't take too long after it's broken, but you must continue on.
Yeah.
You don't want another
Hey,
fall.
Give yourself a break and let
Yeah.
it heal, but keep moving. Like, don't settle. The point, I guess, would be to don't say, oh, now I've got to be, on
little
this
more
couch
care.
for 3 months, because you don't have to be. And the faster you keep moving, the faster that you're going to heal. I mean, think about just blood flow in itself, right?
I know even yesterday I was at the doctor and for my fall checkup and my flu shot. I had my flu shot yesterday. So one of the things that she said is just keep going, just keep moving. It's really important that you do that, because I'm an older adult. I don't apologize, but that's where I am chronologically. But she really was very clear, is keep moving, Rebecca. That's really important that you do that. So
Yeah, it is really important. And like there's tons of research out there that actually physical inactivity, so
Right.
not doing physical activity, actually ages your body faster. So
well, that's
that
no
should
good.
scare you off.
Now, one of the things we're gonna show in just a minute or so, a little video. It's about walk like a penguin. This is something that you recommend, and we're going to show it. It's very short, but what does it tell us about?
So it gives you tips that, hundreds of thousands of penguins can't be wrong. So it's about balance. So it's about, positioning your feet,
Right.
going slow, stepping, 1 foot at a time. One thing I can't stress enough, and we hadn't talked about, is to leave your arms free unless you've got some kind of walking stick. So if you are, say you're you live close to a grocery store, take a knapsack with you so that you can put your groceries in there so that your arms are free.
Right.
And if you do slip, that you've got your hands to put out in front of you. So
To brace yourself.
yeah. And wear good shoes, great fitting boots or shoes, for the winter with good grips.
And that's really important as well to prevent falls. So we're going to stop our program for a moment and show you a video, Walk Like a Penguin, and hopefully by the time it's over, people will be walking like a penguin and it will be preventative as to what you can do. So Judy, we'll flip to that and see what it is and come out of it, and you can make a couple of comments about that. Walk like a penguin. Well, that was a cute, I mean, that was a cute video. Judi, thank you for bringing that and providing it for us. And I'm hoping that people will be able to gain some, enjoyed it and all the rest of it. Is there any last moments or any last things that you would like to say about falls prevention?
No, I think that
we've covered
pretty well everything.
Exercise?
The health unit will have a lot of Walk Like a Penguin, our own version.
Right.
We did borrow with their permission. The video comes from Alberta Health, but it was just so good that you know, no use reinventing the wheel, as they say.
Well,
so
no, it's there.
Keep moving is my message.
Well, thank you for today for coming and talking to me about falls prevention. It's definitely something that we have to prevent. That's the only way I can look at it. Judi Marton has been our guest today to talk about falls prevention. She's come from the, of course, from the Public Health Unit here in Thunder Bay District. We're going to now, from this video that we just showed you, we're going to go, of course, to Linda DePiro, who will provide us our senior exercise moment. So we end our program with the fact of this is something that you should be doing all the time, your exercises. Judi, thanks very much.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Linda DePiro, and today we are going to do some exercises, core off the floor. So we're going to stand upright, and one of the exercises, well, two of the exercises are planks and push-ups. Very friendly to the shoulders. You can start slowly and progress from there. You can even use a kitchen countertop. That works really well. So first of all, the position is going to be elbows lower than the shoulders. And we're going to think of zipping up the abdominals and tightening through the back. Think of a force coming through the floor. Line up your body so that you're like an ironing board against the wall. My elbows are really low here. So with the force, I'm going to inhale and exhale as I gently press the force into the forearm. And you will feel the tightening up. You'll feel the abdominals work, and you can release it and do it again. Now widen out your legs. We're going to do a little exercise where we're lifting the forearm away from the wall without rotating. We want to stay looking at the wall as we lift. This is challenging because the body wants to rotate, so that is just another little thing that you can add to your plank. Push-ups. About shoulder width apart, hands are nice and flat. Here is an upright position. The further you're away from the wall, the more challenging it is. Try to bend and try to totally lengthen. You can do this with fingertips inward, fingertips outward, and a little bit of 3. So be kind to your shoulders, incorporate this upright position into your planks, and you can progress from there. And your shoulders will really thank you, and you will progress very nicely without having to go onto the floor. All right, stay upright.